All right, so
No.
we've got Maquahuitl. What we just played is an unreleased track off of a compilation that should be released next year under Darker Than Black. You missed a pretty good conversation that we totally skipped over.
No, man, I'll repeat it. But yeah, just like the whole absurd thing is absurd, like we mentioned, joking around. But when I was in Finland, I was able to meet one of the members that wrote the material with Hundred, and yeah, another German fellow, and really good. I was able to hear it before it was out in the public through private emails, and was
Yeah.
really psyched for it to come out. So yeah, man. As far as I understand, this whole drama between the two absurds or whatever, it's all within the fandom, as far as I know, and as
Yeah.
far as between themselves. From my understanding, Wolf contacted Hendrik himself and said, "Hey, good job." So I mean, there's some kind of mutual. I don't want some kind of mutual respect of each other's territories and expression in that aspect.
Hey, you
Is it
know
like a
what?
divorce? Are they waiting
Yeah,
for
it's
the
like a
perfect
divorce.
time? The perfect time.
They're
They just need
custody.
some
Hey
time
man,
apart.
we're the kids, dude. They understand that this hurts the kids, and we're the kids in the middle, right? Essentially.
Honestly,
Uh,
I favor Gilo's stuff even more. I was listening to that EP Grab a Sang with Gilo in it, and I was like, this is
Yeah,
better than any absurd I've ever heard.
yeah, man, it's good shit.
Except for what is it, Thuringian? Because I have like every single lyric from almost every track on Thuringian completely memorized. So I want to start this off. You've got quite a bit of drama around you recently,
Yeah, man.
and
Like
I
always, but it's always different.
oh
I was
yeah.
gonna say that recently.
Yeah.
I don't want to treat this like some type of like Mean Girls episode, but there are some rumors going around. Can you elaborate on this?
Yeah, man. Essentially, there was a festival a couple weeks ago in California, that Rise of the Black Sun, and it was thrown by a few promoters from across the United States. And
Yeah.
essentially, I got accused along with Night of the Pale Moon, since I'm really good with that collective as far as good terms.
Oh yeah.
Um, we got accused of doxing the event, of working with Antifa. And yeah, I know, me, the most fucking canceled minority in Los Angeles. I got accused of essentially doing the same shit and working with Antifa to bring down the show. But keep in mind that a week prior of that festival, I performed myself in California, in Hollywood of all places, and one of the promoters of that event asked if they could pass out flyers. I blasted that all over my page for Facebook, with
Yeah.
evidence showing that I didn't do shit. And
Yeah.
yeah, it speaks for itself. And it got turned around into, pretty much, I'm guilty by association, because the person that did dox it is a fan of mine, and also a fan of Edo and Night of the Pale Moon. And this individual
Yeah.
tends to go to our live performances. And I've met him twice, had a couple conversations with him in person, and nothing more than like a paragraph in total. It was very
Hmm.
short. He wanted to get merch from me, shirts. I let him know it was available. I saved things from him, gave it to him in person. Very short. Besides that, I mean, just meme culture. This individual goes by Vein Sauce, and Vein Sauce
Oh
is a
God.
collectist. And yeah, I mean, he makes memes, and that's the only thing prior that we ever bonded over, just the whole meme aspect of it. But there was a couple times where he did ask me some things about my own ideology and my stances on things, and we understand each other, as far as, even though he's far right and I'm more far right and he's far left, obviously, we have a common ground, and the common ground is we want, raza, which is, what we call our Latino community, raza. We want raza to
Yeah.
do well. We want us to prosper and, have things reclaimed in a sense. But we have an understanding of that, and he doesn't see me the same as all these other bronze nationalists, bronze NSBN bands, or indigenous
Yeah.
black metal, which is weird, because for myself, with my music, with Maquahuitl, I'm kind of in the middle. I'm associated with the indigenous black metal bands, like on the Night of the Pale Moon, even Pan American Native Front. Sorry, Ellen, but yeah, I'm associated with Ellen. It's, because for the simple fact that we exchange emails and we were supporting each other even before Pan American was even anything. When he just had his first release, and it was more of a demo at that time, we exchanged
Yeah.
information, and I toured the Midwest a couple of dates, handful of dates. And Allen, Pan American, was supposed to open back then, but he kind of bailed at the last minute. I didn't know why at the time, but after getting to know him, yeah, he's a leftist individual, and he's not. I don't. He's not politically active, as far as I know. but he
Yeah.
does have liberal tendencies and views, and that's fine. So I kind
Yeah.
of get where people get the whole, the whole indigenous black metal scene, the band are all leftists. I get it. It's because when it comes to identity politics, when it comes to the Hispanic Latino community, you have things like the Brown Berets and you have things like the Chicano studies, which do push socialist leaders and ideals towards Raza, because that's just one of those control mechanisms that exist in public schools. They always try to get you to go far left. So as far as indigenous people and across the Americas, that's the reason why a lot of them, I feel, are drawn to leftist ideology, because it's just pander to them, because they're looking for education. They're trying to get in touch with their culture, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not going to knock them down for that, but by doing that, the outlets that they're going towards are all leftist outlets. So they're letting them know essentially, hey, you're the victim, and you have to blame white people for all of these things. And white people are evil, and you have to be a socialist, and you have to be okay with white people that want the same things with you and include other races and all this other stuff, which,
Yakub did make us to be evil. I'll add that.
Yeah.
I'll add that.
yeah. So it's that aspect of the indigenous black metal scene that it's hard to deny that it is more leftist. Now
Yeah.
for the bronze NS scene, it came out of Mexico, of course. The ONSP, which I used to be affiliated with them, but I quit them back in 2014. I quit them because it isn't like now, which for all of you, bronze folk getting into ONSP, my music or whatever. You guys are fucking spoiled as shit, because back when I was doing this in 2000, no, I'm being serious. Back when I was doing this in 2009, I was getting hate from my own raza. I was getting hate by other white fucking people in the NS scene, regular black metal scene, being like, why are you wearing that absurd shirt? Why are you wearing that wolf and horse shirt? You're not fucking white. Why are you wearing that shit? So
It's like they're telling you to like name 3 songs, but instead it's like name skin color.
Name 3
yeah,
white
man.
countries you're from.
Be
Yeah.
80% white.
Scandinavian.
Do they ask you for skull measurements or any of that sort of thing? Do they ask you for your 23andMe?
Name 3 European ethnicities.
Yeah, man. Essentially, yeah, like the name 3 Reich figures from Germany, 1930 and 1945. Yeah, I get what you guys are saying, but it's essentially like a purity test back in that time. But even back then, it isn't like now, where the Aryan scene embraces mestizos, bronze folks getting
Yeah.
into this music, and honestly, I thought that was a great thing.
It
Just
is a great
primarily
thing.
because, yeah, I thought it was a great thing because it was a way to expand as far as this bronze scene. Because at the time, going back to when I was first in the ONSP, there was only like 16 of us members of the ONSP between us here in the U.S. and Mexico. I believe in the U.S. I was one out of 2 or 3 members in the U.S. that were just spread out.
Yeah.
Damn.
They wanted me to find more members, and that was my sole purpose, and that's how Odio Bronce, that collective, came. That was me trying to find recruitments to be part of the ONSP organization. But when I presented these individuals, even they told me, "Hey, these guys are fucking posers." So that was the thing with them. They called everyone a poser, and that's the thing that I did not understand with them is we made ONSP music. I made my music. All of their bands, Kukul Klan, Michelin, like all these other bands that they had. Now, while like they all had these killer fucking black metal NS bands,
Oh,
pagan
yeah.
bands, folk bands, but their mentality was only the true enough can listen to our music. And I was the opposite. I was like, look, man, like we have to kind of have this mindset of outreaching, like the RAC skinhead scene did, like how a lot of the NS scene is in black metal, which is outreaching towards your people, like
Yeah.
as far as giving them the message,
Make
So
friends.
yeah, well,
Have
to
fun.
me, it was kind of like dangling the fruit, because they want to have this elitism and want everyone to be NS, right? Because Hitler didn't just fucking the Hitler who they idolized. He didn't just want to convert just the elite fucking only the most true into NS politics. He wanted every single German to embrace this philosophy and this ideology of like of having a nation be whole, and to hold things paramount that uplift and are good examples for your race and your nation. So those
Yeah.
things aren't something that you could obtain by just, it's only for us 16 members and whoever we feel are worthy to listen to that. So I'm kind of glad now, because since I'm with Dark and the Black took the chance of making me one of their first, if not the first, bronze nationalist band on their roster releasing my music. ONSP started working with him too. Even Azwar started releasing ONSP shit.
Yeah.
He hasn't released anything for me. He's releasing Out of the Pale Moon. Reason why I haven't worked with Ashwar is because I have already other labels that I've already worked with, and I might work with him in the future. I
Asrar
still
is
have his
great.
contact. Who
I love
knows?
them.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he's a dope guy. I think his name is Mateo, if I'm not mistaken. But
I believe so. Yeah.
yeah, I believe that's his name. But I mean, he's done his part. Even Danny, people hate Godo Rex, but he's done his part. The whole indigenous black metal coin term was made by him. This whole push was
Yeah.
made by him.
Really?
So people can criticize him and his in his ways of doing limited pressing. But for myself, I've always done limited pressing with my cassettes, with my vinyls, everything. So that's one bitching aspect I think I fuck off on. But going back to this ONSP topic, yeah, I mean, y'all are spoiled now. You guys are able to grasp all these new ONSP songs, material. That back when we were doing it, it was
Limited.
not. It was very limited, and when I left, they criticized me. They thought I wanted to be a rock star and shit, which is very ironic and stupid. Dude, yeah, I mean, like you're when you have music that's against, the things that it's against Zog or whatever the fuck with ONSP or even sketchy bands or even bands that I used to be affiliated with, you're never going to sell out. You're never going to be like Marduk or Mayhem or fucking 1349, able to tour the
When you
US.
sell out, it's gonna be self-evident. Like people
Yeah.
tell.
Yeah.
Well, I'm saying
Question.
like for example, Pest Nor. If Pest Nor were to play in the U.S., they have that clout to bring all those fans, right? And they would sell out shows, but they can never do that because they'll be canceled on site at every fucking venue. So that goes like even the same thing with Graveland. Imagine if Graveland did a U.S. tour, they lose their fucking mind. But do they have that pull just like Mayhem does and all these other fucking mainstream safe bands? Of course they do. But it's very still limited because it's NS leaning, sketchy leaning, and that's the boat that I'm on. So for them to have this mentality, I'm just trying to be a fucking rock star, dude. You're greatly fucking mistaken. If anything, I break out even with anything I put into this music. I would say within the last year or two is when essentially the label started paying for my recording sessions and started paying for things to get done. For the longest time, it was self-sustaining. Like I was paying for everything myself and reimbursing, paying my life band members, which I still do, my life session members, my merch people, like I pay them. So when the pot gets full, everyone gets a piece of it, So,
Exactly.
You're
Yeah.
a self-made millionaire.
Self-made.
apparently I'm a millionaire, but I mean,
Black metal entrepreneur.
I mean, my
investments.
my 9 to 5 is smoking barbecue meats. Like I have a fucking well, not regular, but I have a fucking job, man, like a collar job. Like I take pride in my work, butchering meat, seasoning it, smoking it for fucking 12 to 16 hours, having
That's
it
a
come out
manly
perfect.
job.
Like,
Yeah,
well, yeah,
that's sick.
dude. I mean, I fucking love it. I mean, so like black metal and doing music is very minuscule, but
Yeah.
these motherfuckers LARP. They LARP fucking full time, and like I have my views still. Like I've evolved. I've grown up, and that doesn't mean that I'm not still into the sketchy shit that I'm into. It just means that I don't need some dude in 1940 Germany to tell me how to be proud or to tell me what to be proud of and what ideologies and what customs to grab onto. I've learned from that, and there's some things from that I'll take example of, like a modern society rejecting Abrahamic religions, returning to paganism. That's one aspect from the Third Reich that for sure I will embrace and carry with me forever.
Yeah.
So yeah, of course that's always going to be there. Just these motherfuckers think that all because I don't have fucking a Totenkopf with a sombrero on it and shit. Being serious, they think that I'm not quote unquote down or I'm not the same. But the thing is that, man, especially spending my time in Europe, a lot of Europeans don't like white Americans. They think a lot of you guys suck. I hate to say it like that, but they do, because they see a lot of you guys as being rude or not having your own culture and shit like that. Or like, it is what it is. But at the same time, what they told me is that we respect your music because you're not like the other Mexican bronze bands. You're not using our symbols. You're not trying to be German with your music. It's when we hear your music, it's all your culture. It's all your representation, and that's what I wanted. And that's the thing with this. Latinos having black suns on their fucking albums and having Totenkopf sombreros and having like a combination of like indigenous and Third Reich imagery. At the end of the day, it's laughable. I can understand why
it's kind
they
of tokenistic, sort of. It's like it's a bit.
Well, it is
kind of
really
like attention seeking almost.
No, it's almost like bootlicking the white man. Like, please notice me. Please notice that I
Yeah.
Zog just like
I'm
you.
one of the
Like,
Like,
good
hey,
ones, I promise.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm using your symbols.
I'm not like
using your
others.
symbols. Isn't
No,
it
for real.
isn't it so novel that I'm using your symbols and I'm this guy?
Yeah,
That's kind
but
of like how they see it.
no, but the thing is that I'm able to get that same respect that they desire without needing to do that, without needing to use white symbols. Of course, I have these affiliations from my past that we did use those things like Nocturnal Warfare. I'll just throw it out there. Nocturnal Warfare was a band that I helped craft, and I was proud of it for what it was. Even doing Blood Division, revamping that band with Juan. So there's a lot of sketchy
Blood
shit that I've
Division is
done,
very good.
but thank you. But I rejected that not because I'm ashamed of it, just because I like I said, like NS ideology should be an evolution. I know the left has tainted the word progressive or being or progressing, but that's not a bad term. We if you want your if you don't want your race to always progress in its lane, to do its own thing, to be better than it was, to use the to always remember the traditions, but to use new ideologies or new technologies or whatever it is to better your race or to better your community, you'd be a fucking idiot to not do that. You know, so
Yeah.
that term progressiveness demonized a lot more than it should. But that's the mindset that NS ideology needs. You know, like to really be its true self to whatever ethnic group decides to embrace it. It needs to have its own symbolism. It needs to have its own identity. So that being said, like my views are still the same. I just see NS as just being more just white politics, white ideology, and I understand that, but I'm more just nationalistic. I'm pan nationalist, if anything, for like
Yeah.
this side of the globe.
And that
So
was gonna be one of my questions was I was gonna ask, you wrote about this Hispanic folk hero, Gregorio Cortez. And I was gonna ask, do you find yourself like pivoting away from like nationalistic themes in your music and more of like a historical type of uh context, I guess.
yeah, well, with my music, it's always been cultural. Like, if you could look at any of my albums, I don't talk about any politics, man. Like, I've always used things like to really be tongue in cheek, or as far as like question, like what could he be talking about? Like, I have this song, like in English, it's called "Slaves of the Blue Star." You know, Blue Star that could be taken as the Israeli fucking Star of David. You know, so it's like, but then
Yeah,
but I know. So like I said, like
love
it's
them.
Spanish in Spanish, that's what it's called. But really, what that song is about star demons in the sky and like a battle between Huitzilopochtli and the star demons. So that's
Yeah.
pretty much what that song's about. But I've done some tongue in cheek and kind of borderline. Is it NS? Is it not? Just to fucking play with people. Another thing I did was like Hakan Cruz Eternal, Hakan Cruz being the swastika, obviously, and that song was for an NS compilation, and that song is pretty much about the swastika, and it universally represents different cultures, but at the same time, it's a symbol of power for all these different races and cultures throughout the globe. So that's what
Yeah.
that song's about. But have that title, and people just point to that and the fact that it was on that Barbados compilation. I think Barbados 6 or some shit like that, and or 6 or 9, one of those numbers.
Yeah.
And it was out there, and people use that as an example of like, oh, look, he is a Nazi. Look,
So are you
he's
sort
on
of
this
like
compilation.
so are you sort of baiting a reaction? Is that kind of what you're getting at?
Yeah, I mean,
Kind
or the earlier stuff, yes, but I mean, I would say since Blood of Kings, the first album, everything's been more or less like just straightforward, just representing a culture of more of a
hmm
nationalistic stance. Like even, I talk about a lot of the battles that happened during, Anahuac during the warlord times, even to the time of the Spanish arriving. So I
Yeah.
really don't have anything like that. So with the whole Cortez thing, um, at the time, like Wayfarer was out, and like you had Vital Spirit, like these bands doing this Western thing. And honestly, I thought I was high as fuck one day, and I was like, you know what, I could do better. Straight up, not only that, but like my arch nemesis that isn't so much an arch nemesis anymore, Volon. He's always had that kind of like spaghetti Western shit in his music,
Yeah.
and even me, I was smoking. And I was like, you know what, even that motherfucker did this shit better. So you know what, I'm gonna do what I can, and I'm gonna add some like some ranchera like fucking norteño music, corrido like shit with, and even a cumbia section in that EP that con su pistola a la mano. So
Yeah.
since it was more of that Southwest as far as soundscape, I just didn't want to randomly just go to a Western kind of like theme and just just have it be a Western thing. I just wanted it to like match. And since that story of Gregorio Cortez was around South Texas to Mexico, around that area, to me it was a perfect setting for bringing this musical soundscape into having some kind of lyrical theme context to kind of connect it all together and make sense. And
That's
since
fair.
so that was the reason for that. Now, am I going to be continuing to add like cumbias and shit in my music? No, like I'm not into repeating myself. Honestly, I just wanted to break the mold and I wanted to do something different and kind of this is like that making that song what's it called, I'm getting mixed up with my shit. Peaceful. No, it's on Hot That's the cumbia song. After I wrote that song, I was pretty much like, it's all downhill from here as far as
Yeah.
like taking the risk. Because I was nervous releasing that song, man. Like having like cumbia music with black metal
Oh,
is
yeah.
not fucking. It wasn't even received 100% well. Like, but it was predominantly received very well. And I knew from there, like, all right, after this track, I have free range. I
Yeah.
could do whatever the fuck I want with my music
You
and go in
should-
any direction.
You should make a song about Santa Muerte, but have it be like an evil Catholic hymn.
It's funny you say that. Like the Hellfire Death Cult guys are all about that Santa Muerto worship. I'm doing a split with them, and I did release that track, Maquahuitl, several weeks ago before I went and played in California. So yeah, man. I mean, those guys are all about that Santa Muerto shit, and like, yeah, I've been thinking about which way to go with my music. As far as I'm thinking about just keeping it culturally Mexican, since that's where my father's side of the family came from. My mother's side came from El Salvador, so I have both of those blood ties in me.
Mhm.
But overall, I just identify as Chicano because if you know anything about Latino culture and stuff, like in Mexico, they don't see me as Mexican. They think that because I'm from the north, I'm from the U.S. They think a lot of us Chicanos over here are privileged. And I'm gonna be honest, like it is a different culture. I honestly
Oh, yeah.
wish I was Mexican. I wish I was born down there because they're so spoiled by being around culture and being around like these ancient sites that they could go and just fucking walk there if they wanted to and be there. And me, I have to read about them through textbooks. And not only that, a lot of the textbooks are in Spanish. So not only do I have to, translate for myself all these things because Spanish is not my first language. It's my second, which I don't know fluently. I know it enough where I survived in Mexico for 2 fucking weeks and I could, communicate and all that. But there's a lot of street terms and
Yeah.
dialects and stuff that I'm not accustomed to, and I've always been very honest about that. But
Mhm.
yeah, man, I mean, it is different as far as like Chicano to Mexican to other Central and South American countries, man. Like everyone just thinks because you're brown, you understand and respect each other, but it's not. That's not really the case.
Yeah,
Man.
I hear there's a lot of like racism between like in between like small like South American and Central American countries, like Mexicans and like Colombians, stuff like that. There's a lot of like infighting. How was
Yeah,
Mexico?
man.
people will be surprised by how little parity there is between groups, how much like conflict there is,
It's like British
between
people and
them.
like Norwegians.
Or maybe like British people and the Irish.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
about-
Ooh.
Yeah. You wanna
Well,
start,
yeah, that's spicy right there. But yeah, it's pretty much tribalism at the end of the day, right?
Yes.
Whatever way you want to dice it. So obviously for brown folk, indigenous folk, we come from tribalism, so that's always going to be embedded in us. But I'm trying to use this tribalism in a more healthy way, which is like all this hate that I've gotten from Black Twilight Circle in the past, from the ONSP, even with the camaraderie I've had with Edo and I, the Pilgrim. Like, look,
Yeah.
I tell them respectfully, bring it, and I mean that in the sense of like, let's push each other to create good music. I'm not gonna lie, I've heard Black Twilight songs of the newer shit they've done, and just be like, is it good or not? If it's good, I'm like, all right, well, I know I have to push myself, and they should be doing the same thing. We should all be listening to each other's music, see where we're going, and try to outdo each other. That's the way the
that
scene.
should be how
That's
it is.
a
Yes.
very-
great.
That's a very like good way of looking at it because
Well,
just,
it
it's
has-
just
it has
so
to
much,
be.
so much, yeah, so much. It's like sometimes it seems like everybody's just circle jerking each other for lack of a better
Yeah,
word.
exactly.
Like back in
Oh.
the 90s, everybody's just like cutting promos on each other like it's a WWE. Nobody really got along. Like everybody was saying, "Oh, I'm gonna do your music, but I'm gonna do it better," or "I'm just going to do what you're doing. I'm gonna do
Yeah,
something
nowadays it's
along
just
Yeah,
like
no.
similar lines. I'm gonna
hails,
do it
bro.
better."
Hails.
Eternal
Yeah,
hails.
It's
Yeah,
just
yeah,
circle
like-
jerking.
Yeah, to me,
Nobody,
like
nobody's
I think
telling anybody what they can improve on any of this. Everybody's
Oh, yeah.
kind of too afraid.
Eternal hails to Venom.
The
Yeah, I mean,
the Thunderground they call it.
Yeah, man, the Underground's too real sometimes, man. It's all about just making something sound as accessible as it can. Don't get me wrong. Like there's bands that you could worship and you could like be like, oh, like Moonblood or whatever, have a Moonblood worship band. But if it sounds just like Moonblood, man, you got to elaborate on that some more. Like myself, Wolfnut and Total Vernichtag are two of my favorite bands, and like with the way that I hit my high notes and play my high note melodies, like that's obviously Total Vernichtag worship.
Yeah,
But at
I
the
can
same
notice
time,
that in the latter.
thanks, man. But going back to that, like I'm not really trying to replicate what he does to a T. I'm just taking some influences, like I do with other things, and just try to incorporate into my music. And that's what a lot of these bands aren't doing. And like I said, everyone should be listening to each other and try to outdo. You know, I mean, if we have this elitist mentality in black metal, especially the NS sector, you need to be elite. You need to fucking put yourself in the same measuring scale and be like, is this fucking mid? Is this fucking fire?
Yeah.
Is this gas? Like, you need to like really push
Don't
yourself.
put on a mask. Like if something sucks, just tell them it sucks because it makes them better
Mhm.
for it.
Yeah, man, for
Yeah.
sure, no doubt. Yeah, no doubt. But yeah, man, that's pretty much the bronze drama with the ONSP. As far as the reason why I brought them up is because that's the root with this whole rise of the Black Sun drama that's been going on. Those guys escalated it even more. I've been seeing that they even made a flyer saying "snitches get stitches,"
It's
calling me
funny too.
calling me Antifa, calling me
It's
Antifa and shit.
It's funny
Yeah.
too because you're built as shit. Like, like I've seen like pictures of you flexing, and I was like, dude, every single I don't know. What about that one guy who was like he made a YouTube account and just like commented under every single one of your videos, snitch or something? It's just so
Dude,
petty.
I have a feeling who that is. Let me get my op list out here. I have a road
I was just about to
Sorry,
say.
boss,
List.
there.
Name
Yeah,
of
my
dead
op
Top
list.
list.
All right. Okay. I don't. I forgot that dude's name on fucking on social on that YouTube channel, but I
Dox
believe
him.
it's this guy.
Tell us where they work.
I believe it's this dude named Sangre Victoria from Florida. He's been fucking
Oh,
biggest crybaby on fucking Instagram. I believe that's that guy. If it's not, whatever.
He's in
Sangre
my
Victoria,
zone.
you're still good.
what's his
Dude,
address? Where does he work?
dude, I don't know yet, but
What's his
I mean, I'm gonna
commute
roast-
like?
You're gonna be a
Bro, I'm gonna-
certified hitter for him.
What did he eat for breakfast this
What
morning?
are some places
Bro.
this guy frequents? What time
Bro,
does he
I
go
don't
to
have
bed?
that.
Does he
I don't
leave his
have that
front
kind of-
door unlocked?
I don't have that kind of info right now, but what I will say is that, dude, fucking Sangre, I know enough about you, bro. You're just some Florida,
Uh-oh.
you're some
Goodness.
Florida swamp ass fucking Puerto Rican mutt
Dude.
motherfucker that's fucking confused as shit, bro. I also know as well that you try to fly bitches over to Florida to try to link up with you. None of them want to come to you and bite. I also know that you went to fucking Texas,
Oh.
you went to Houston to go
shit.
link up with some bitch that didn't even want you, bro. So you got some fucking problems. You want to come at me, bro, and call me like believe all these rumors and do all this dumb shit, bro. Like you don't know shit about me, man. Stay in your fucking lane. Keep your fucking mouth shut. Like like these guys have said, like, bro, like I'm built now. You guys probably think I'm so
Great.
fat because I've lost over 100 pounds and I've got buff as shit, dude. Like, bring it, bro. Like, I'm not afraid, man. Like, call me a snitch in my face and see what fucking happens. That's all I gotta say, dude. Like, I'm not
Yeah.
gonna try to flex any other
I'm
way.
just
Like,
gonna say
this is how it works out.
I'm adding the Stone Cold Steve Austin theme in post. in
Yeah.
this.
no, but fuck that guy for real, dude. That guy's fucking butthurt. I don't know why he hates me. He's probably just like, but from my understanding, he recently, Sangre Victoria, he recently got into my music and started like blasting my shit, like, oh, dude, like he like pretty much worshiping me. Then this whole Martin's Antifa with Edel, and then he just started talking all this mean shit. And then from my understanding, he's still talking shit. And he's always saying homophobic slurs as well, which is kind of sus because if you're always talking about me, posting on my shit. Like if you're hating on me, you're thinking about another man. I'm a man, bro. You're thinking about another
Homophobic
man.
slurs.
Yo,
Are you a gay
You have some
defender?
Slur.
like this guy has some like hidden gay tendencies. He needs to fucking yeah, man. I mean, hey, it's 2022. This is the time to come out, bro. I mean, you're always thinking about me, another fucking nigga and shit. You want to do that shit, man? That's on you, bro. Like you gotta
Yeah.
grow up, dude, and you gotta just keep Zeke howling on your IG stories, bro. Just keep doing that.
Oh yeah.
It will work out great for you. It works out great for everyone.
All right.
Cool,
So the
cool.
Satan situation. I want to hear about
Yeah.
this because this is a funny story.
Yeah, man. The whole Satan thing. Pretty much that dude lives in Tennessee. I live in Tennessee. I live close to Nashville, right outside of Nashville in the suburbs. And from my understanding, he does as well. I don't know where exactly, and plus, I
Really
wouldn't care
care?
to really to care, but I just know he's within Nashville as far as I would say within a half hour. Just
You
like
guys
I
should
am.
be friends.
I want to be, I want to be his friend at this point, just to piss off everyone, because I guess like I'm Antifa now or whatever. I would love to be cool with him. I would like to take a selfie with him
Yeah.
and explode. I would like to uh trade merch and wear his shirt on stage. Just so,
And
like I
that's
said,
one thing I like about like your connections is you're not really like that hateful of a person, you know what I mean? So if like you have somebody who like really disagrees with you, you're not gonna just say like I hate you, go die or something. It's like
well, dude, I'm a fucking 33 adult fucking male, bro. Like I don't need to fucking, I don't
exactly,
need to
man.
act
It's
like a
like
kid, man. Yeah, and like not only that, but this whole echo chamber shit. Like people want to criticize, like, oh, like fucking these snowflakes on the left have an echo chamber and all this shit, which is like everyone does in a sense. And like I think it's good to kind of challenge yourself and talk to people who you know don't necessarily have to agree with or even have the same lifestyles. You learn so much just from their mistakes and their expression alone for you to kind of put yourself in check and know not to be like
yeah.
them if that's not what you want to be. And not only that, but just like it's not hard to respect someone, and stay in your lane. It's when they cross that threshold and start having you question your own worth in your own respect that's when
It
it's a
becomes a
problem.
problem.
Yeah, really, in all honesty. So with this whole Satan guy, what's his name? Tyler, I think it's his
I
name.
think it's
Tyler. Yeah.
Tyler, yeah.
Tyler Blevins, yes.
Yeah, Tyler. And, yeah, I mean, we have a mutual friend. Her name is she's the chick from Grot. Her name is Houston. She's fucking awesome. Shout out to Houston, by the way.
We do like
Um,
grot.
dude, she's awesome. She's a good person. She's a good spirit. But yeah, we met for lunch one day. She was like in the area, and I saw that she was, and I was like, hey, we should go grab something to eat. And she was like more than happy to do so. I had some merch for her and all that, and we went out, and she even tried to invite the guys from Sidon to come out and have lunch with us. But I guess he was a little sketched out, saying like, "Oh, I don't know him. I don't know him." And I honestly, he didn't know who I was. He was just playing dumb. Yeah. Honestly, and and honestly, I was wearing like a weaved out like Brawly Dragon Ball Z like white shirt. Like I wasn't,
shit.
yeah, dude.
That's
Like
drip.
no, man. Like I'm fucking buff as fuck now, but I mean, I'm just like, dude. I was approachable in any sense of the word, So we had lunch, me and Hunter and I. Like it was cool, like and everything was great. Then they came back to pick her up because I guess they were her ride, and he wouldn't get out of the car to see me. So she was like, just walk up to his window. And I walked up to his window and knocked on it. He rolled it down, and he would not make eye contact with me. I'm like, hey, man, what's going
Oh,
on? And
Oh,
he was just,
Jesus.
so like, and in a sense, I kind of felt bad for the guy because like, I think he's on the spectrum. I think he's got like autism. I mean, a lot of us students do. I'm not
everybody
going to
does.
Oh no.
So
So
that's
like,
not saying a
like,
lot.
yeah, so I think it was probably just like didn't expect that, and I tried talking to him, make short talk, and he just wouldn't have it. So I just left him alone. But when Houston was on the way going back to wherever she was staying at after our lunch to get together, she texted me like, "Oh, I showed him your vinyls," and then he said, "Oh, that's the guy. I actually like his music, and I have one of his records." So I guess he does like my music.
Maybe,
So
maybe he's not all that bad. Maybe he should unblock me
yeah.
on Instagram though. That kind of
Well,
pisses
I
me
he
mean,
off.
blocked me too.
Well, I mean, I don't. He's strange because he'll say he hates NSBM, but he obviously likes sketchy shit. So I don't know, man. Like, I don't know what his deal is, but I mean, I wish the dude know Will Ill. I just think he's young and he's got autism and he just needs to learn.
I mean he's
So
he's good at his instrument, okay? I think there's like a big hate circle jerk around him, but he's really he's not that bad of a musician. You know what I mean? Like,
it's the same thing with Lamp of Murmur. I think Lamp of Murmur gets more hate than it
oh,
should. Like, I personally don't
absolutely.
like Lamp. I personally don't like Lamp's music at all. But some of the live members I know on a personal level, and like I'm cool with them, and like I respect them enough to at least. I mean, he's selling out shows, bro. Like, what the fuck do you want me to say?
That was
He's
Yeah.
selling
crazy.
out shows. Like,
You played with Kuka, or am I retarded?
Oh, Kuka Ilimaku.
Yeah. Can you
That's
play with
actually something I was gonna bring up because
Me too.
when you were talking earlier, because it's like bands like Kuka Ilimaku were they got a pass for a long time because people were just passing them off as like tribalism But when they explicitly said our band has always been about nationalism, they got kicked off Bandcamp.
I know.
But it's so
Yeah.
blatant too. They had a song called "The White Man and His Place in the Dirt."
Well, yeah, I mean, I get it. Like, I get it, man. I think he's just trying to not have any means of being canceled by people that don't understand it. But at the same time, like in black metal, any statement that you make is going to be a double-edged sword, and it's gonna fucking hurt you no matter what. So at least for myself, I've taken the Kanye approach of just shit talking back. Like, I'm not going to fucking be like Nocturnal Mortem
Yeah.
and backtrack statements or like, you know, make some elaborate like save my ass statement on Facebook or on social media. But at the same time, if motherfuckers are accused, this is the thing. I don't care if people like me, but if you call me a snitch, that's like attacking my character. If you're calling me
Yeah.
Antifa, that's attacking my character. So of course I'm gonna say something. And I'm gonna be fucking Kanye about it. I'm gonna roast you. I'm gonna make memes about you. I'm gonna
You're gonna
no,
call out the
I'll-
Jews.
You're gonna go DEFCON 3 on them.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, me and the homie are talking about making a band called DEFCON 3, so we'll see how that
Jesus
goes.
fuck.
Oh, I said it out loud. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, but yeah, that's another. Like, man, the whole Kanye thing's fucking insane too, man. Like, he said the J word. He said that
He
you're not
said
supposed to say the J word.
I like how you can just like name what something is guilty of, and they'll just respond. You know what I mean? Like it'll be like it's almost like you're like you're a judge or something, and you're accusing somebody of murder, and somebody in the jury says, "I didn't do it. Stop saying that I did it." It's like that.
Yeah.
It's like it's just guilt placed out of nowhere. But I definitely knew he was trying to call out.
Yeah, but with
It's-
that Hawaiian band that was it Kuka, whatever. Yeah, those dudes. The thing about them is like they're a newer band, and like I said, like a lot of these bands, like they just got to learn, you know, that not talking is the best thing to do if you don't care about the backlash. I don't give a fuck about the backlash. I'm
Yeah.
always gonna talk.
You should be
You know?
unapologetic. You know what I mean? Don't worry about
Yeah.
like side effects.
But the only thing about his statement that I kind of felt was what was contradictory was like being like, you know, we're nationalistic, but we're not part of this anti-colonial black label movement or whatever you call
Yeah.
it. But the thing is that you can't really be a nationalist or have nationalist tendencies without being anti-colonial. The whole purpose is to reclaim your own land and your own politics and your own pretty much threshold of your sovereignty. And you know, the only way that's going to do it is by kicking out colonizers, kicking out those who are your overlords, in a sense, you know. So it's I don't know, it's kind of like contradictory, but I mean I understand what he's saying, which is the victimhood. Without that, I spoke about earlier about this whole indigenous victimhood that they preach about in schools that a lot of these leftists have that are brown and that are indigenous, like blaming the white man and shit. And I understand it doesn't help them because you know like. That what was that song European Garbage or what that they had that the song title
The white man in his place in the dirt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean like having song titles like that doesn't really like you know help you when you try to be neutral as long as you try to be
Yeah.
you know it really does and you have to go like all in or all out and just like it's like what is it fucking Tropic Thunder you never go full retarded unless you're ready for it, bro.
Yeah.
You never
I
go
mean,
full
if
retarded.
I were in Hawaii and like Americans came and they like boosted our obesity rate by like triple and put McDonald's and heart diseases all over.
I just wanted to point out that in that scene in Tropic Thunder, Robert Downey Jr. was wearing blackface, and I just find that
That's
very
it?
pertinent.
Yeah, but the black people co-opted, bro. They were like, they signed it off. They're like, this is okay. It's funny. So as long as you're funny with blackface, I guess it's okay.
Yeah.
That's true.
No,
They
he's
should do
Iron Man. It's
Brisbane like
okay.
that.
It's Iron
And
Man.
plus,
It's
like-
okay.
Well, I mean, and also he pretty much is black with the way that he's had his drug problems, court cases, and shit. Like that's just a minority. A fucking minority, bro.
Okay.
He's one of us. He's one of us minority folks, man.
Us.
He's honorary.
Well, yeah, I'm not white like you folks, man. Unfortunately.
Well, no, we got another Hispanic in the chat.
Oh, dude, we did. Nice.
Not really.
I had to
not
call
really,
you out
not
like
really. Wait. Okay, I have a question. So I'm 1/4 Cuban. Can I join La Raza?
And as long as you're partly brown and down, man, you're good.
Okay, I guess. Okay, I guess I join. You're right.
You heard it
then.
here first.
Or oh,
Yeah.
Live initiation.
You heard it here first. Okay.
You've been knighted.
Here's a good one. Okay, so where did your roots in black metal begin? And it's like, how old were you when you discovered it? And what was the time frame between like you discovering it and your first release?
Oh man. Okay, well, it's two answers for that. When I first technically heard black metal, it wasn't really black metal, really. Like when I don't know, man, in fourth grade. I don't know how that was in
Damn.
fourth grade.
That's
What was
young.
it like?
Shit.
I was in fourth grade. Like the first thing I ever heard when I was that young was Demu and Cradle of Filth.
Ooh.
Those are the two bands I heard. I know Cradle is not really technically black metal when it comes to the cult standard, but that was like the first exposure. It was with Median when that album came out, so I heard that, and then leading into Damnation at a Day. So those two albums to me are special just because I was young when they came out. And with Demu, like I wasn't really much into symphonic at the time, so I really didn't really understand it. Now I love it, and like the live in Poland from '98 is like some of like
Ooh.
the best black metal footage ever, man. I mean, if you ever
At which
watch
the
point
walk to
it,
do you
Poland.
draw the line? When do they start sucking for you?
oh man, when they lost Nick Barker,
Ooh, that's a good one.
Fair
but
enough.
for me, man, he was such a great drummer. You can meet all their fucking whack riffs even sound great, man. He's just fucking he was amazing. But
Well, Nick
that's just
Barker
my
played on
opinion.
that one Old Man's Child album, didn't he? I
Oh,
think
dude,
so.
yeah, Vermin, I think it was, and that's a great album too. I think
Yes.
if that was the one he did.
It was a good
But
album.
it is a great. I was listening to it at the gym earlier today. It's fucking it was a good pump.
Nice.
But yeah, Immortal was another band I heard when I was that young. But that's where black metal lost me because I saw the music videos and I saw how silly it was. And to me, I was like, you know what, fuck this shit. I wasn't into black metal. To me, it ruined it for me. You know, it ruined it for me before I dug deep because with bands like Cradle and Immortal doing goofy shit, it turned me off to really take it more seriously. So I grew up, I got into other genres. I got into metalcore, got into grindcore, death metal, all that shit. Still growing up as a kid, going through fucking middle school, high school, and shit. And high school, I would say my senior year, I met this dude named Joey, and he was like really into black metal, and like we were friends. I was more into like grind at that time, and we were friends, but we would still clown on each other. I would make fun of him for being
Yeah.
fucking into black metal and shit. But one time, and like he just let it go. He just like shake his head and whatever. He never. That's the thing about Joey. My buddy Joey at the time, he never gave me shit for giving him shit. He just like kind of brushed it off. But one
Yeah.
day, one day we were doing mushrooms together, and like we were just tripping. And then he played Burzum, and he played Satanic War Master, I Dream of Eight, and he played Flaws of Time from Dark Throne, and didn't say a word to me. I didn't even ask. Like I knew it was black metal, but I didn't know what it was. I didn't know what bands they were. And like being tripping out on mushrooms, I was just like stuck, bro. And that's when it hit me. Like it clicked. Like this is what I want to do. And I was
Yeah.
maybe like I was 17 years old, maybe 18. And that was like I said, my senior year of high school. I was 18. Or I'm sorry, 17. And yeah, man, that was like 2006,
I was like the
2007.
moment. Yeah.
Yeah, that was the moment where it really hit. And I got into NSBM and I started being into NSBM in like as soon as 2008. So that transition to sketchy was really quick. And that's the thing about Joey. Like I said, my buddy from high school, he showed me Nocturnal Mortem and Satanic War Master as like one of the first bands. So I've always knew what the sketch was. I always knew what all these left or right wing kind of bands with tendencies were. Even Burzum, but even though Burzum is Var gets labeled as a Nazi and all that shit, and he is
He's
like
not
far
really
right.
one.
Yeah, I mean, well, the music isn't NSBM, bro.
He's an
Burzum is not NSBM.
odalist.
Yeah,
That's what he says.
Yeah.
that's what he
Yeah.
says. No, but his Hitler Youth haircut and prison fucking photos say otherwise, right? But
Yeah.
but going back to it, like Burzum is not NSBM. Like if you hear the music, it is black metal. He doesn't have any of those kind of like subjects, third right subjects, or even nationalistic like politics in his music, man. So it gets called NSBM, and it really shouldn't be. But yeah, like I said, it was 2008 or so. That's where I started getting more into the sketch and into it. And like I said, the bronze
Would
folk
you-
into it now are spoiled.
Would you even describe like NSBM as like a particular sound, or do you just see it as like a label that some bands get blackballed as? Because
You know what? It's more of a term to label something just based off of
Exactly.
imagery more than anything. But there are bands that you hear a riff and you know it's
Mhm.
NS, bro.
Yeah,
So
like
the-
they'll
the
like
riffs
they'll,
just
they'll,
sound
they'll just like whip
racist
out they'll whip
riffs.
out like an RAC riff or something like that. Yeah, I know what you
Well,
mean.
yeah, but I'm going beyond that. Like hearing something that isn't even an RAC riff. It's more like if it sounds triumphant or
Yeah, it
prideful.
sounds kind of like optimistic more so than others, and it's like, wait a
Yeah.
mined, this sounds so happy. Is it
Why are
sketchy?
racist people
Uh-oh.
so
So
happy?
Melodeath is racist in general? Is that what it means?
What was that? Sorry.
Does that mean Melodeath is racist, like inherently?
Oh no!
Ooh,
You know what?
ooh.
Someone
Oh
I
my
did have a
goodness!
fan. I did have a fan tell me that pretty much Maquahuitl is at the gates core worship black metal, and like I
That's
did
pretty
not.
funny.
I,
That's pretty
I did
funny.
not. Yeah, I did not hate that. Like I do like at the gates core. You know what the fuck?
Well, there
Like
were like a
I'm
shit
not.
ton of black, the red in the sky. What was it? Fuck.
The red
The
in the sky is
debut.
Sky
ours.
is
The Sky is
Yeah.
ours. Yeah, that was highly
Yeah.
um influential to black metal. I think like some of the guys from Dodheimsgard cited it.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
it's like yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, Melodeath is good. People
A lot
shouldn't
of,
Melodeath
a lot
is
of stuff
great.
on
out
Pure
on it.
Holocaust kind of reminds me.
Yeah, I can see that. And of
I love
course,
Melo.
dissection.
Yeah, I love
Those
Melodeath, but I
genres.
also hate the fact that Carcass with Melodeath because I love gore grind fucking era.
Oh yeah,
I
Oh
worship
yeah.
that shit,
Yeah.
bro.
Carcass
Oh,
was so
man.
much better, like in the early phases.
Oh,
I
dude.
like both eras of Carcass, but whatever that new album is they put out, it
Oh,
doesn't
dude,
gel with me.
trash. Trash, trash, trash.
Melodeath and
horrible.
roll.
Boogie woogie riffs.
Polka beats.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, dude.
I saw them live at Maryland Death Fest. It was quite an ordeal, I have to say. Because what happened was we got rained out at Edison Lot, so we went to what is it? I think it's Ram's Head, and who was playing there? Violence was playing there, and I was like, "What the hell? This isn't Carcass." And so I left, and then I came back,
Nobody
and then
likes violence.
and then
Violence
Carcass.
is good. Shut up.
I don't like violence. No,
I know.
I have a
but
violence shirt actually. Eternal
I don't
Nightmare.
even.
yeah, but I came
Okay.
back and I heard Carcass was playing, and I was like, "Oh, this is shit," and then I just left again.
No. Violence is better than both eras of Carcass actually. So
Oh, yeah, man. Oof.
Ooh, that's that.
Hot
I'm gonna have
topic.
to disagree with you.
I'm
on
a
that
I'm
one.
a,
That's a hot
I'm a
take.
big I'm a big thrash head. So there's that.
We
Okay.
like thrash here.
Mhm.
Depends on what kind of.
I noticed your most recent single has a lot more like death metal influence. Is that something you kind of see yourself going into in the future? Is incorporating more like death metal, like
You know
type?
what? Possibly, but I don't know. I might even just make a separate other project just for that. Who knows?
Yeah,
I think that might be the safer bet. But I did that just solely because the split was with Hellfire Death Cult, and I wanted to
do something that fits
also,
it.
yeah, fits it. Not only that, but I had those riffs, a lot of those riffs since when I used to do Blood Division and when I was a live guitarist for Blue Hummingbird on the left because
Ooh,
at the time I was writing riffs for them because we were gonna work on an album, but they didn't even have their first one. It took them like I think like 9 years to get that album out, man. So
damn.
they weren't letting me do much input. So I had things on the back burner. So they just weren't able to really embrace that of me because like I said, it wasn't time. But yeah, those were riffs that were not used for that band. So that's the reason why when people compare it to BHL or they say it sounds like Black Twilight, well, it's like that's the reason why. Like it
Yeah.
was made during the period. A lot of it was written during the period that I was going to use it for them. And going back to that whole thing with Black Twilight and stuff, there hasn't been much beef. A lot of people knew that we had a bad falling out. I used to, obviously play for Blue and Brown on the left, and I was part of their collective for a while as a live member. It went south. Out of dumb reasons, man. I can't even. It's been so long now. You know, like when you hate someone for so long that you kind of forget the context of what you hate
Yeah.
so much.
Oh yeah.
To me, it's kind of to that point now. It's so trivial and dumb. I really don't care. But this animosity between the two, like I've talked about tribe versus tribe and being competitive and trying to outdo each other, like it's been healthy in that aspect. Because when I did that second album, Teocalli of the Sacred War, I was fucking. I had something to prove, and I needed to outdo them. That album is that album that like I really had that hate for Black Twilight because that the beef between us was really really harsh. But that was then, and honestly, I wrote Eddie, the guy from Bolon. I wrote him before or after I got back from Steelfest. I don't remember. That was back in May, and pretty much wanting to end the beef and just tell him like, hey man, let's just like put it behind us. This hate's been good for us. We both wrote great music through
Yeah.
this passion, and you're great at what you do. I'm great at what we do. I even recommended that we should like even play a show together. I know for a fact if myself and Volan were to play any show anywhere in the world,
It would
man,
get
people would
booked.
fucking dude,
Oh
they
yeah.
would get sold out almost instantly, dude. And another reason why I wanted to do it is because I think people are starting to fucking forget, like especially with this whole Antifa thing, it made people forget who the fuck I was. Like for people to think that I was Antifa, like like seriously, Los Angeles, like you guys think like every single time I come back to LA to play, Antifa tries to shut down my show. So you really
Yeah.
think me of all people, like, it's this whole guilty by association thing, which is also hypocritical because they hate that. In the NS scene, if you listen to Nazi black metal, don't call me a Nazi. How can you make me guilty by association? Well, those motherfuckers did the same thing to me, and it's really hypocritical, man. It really
Yeah,
is.
there's so many double standards, and for a while I was really glad that like they got over that because like it's like
Hmm.
I can go to like NS house shows, even though you know I may have some
Yeah,
certain tendencies to myself, right? But
yeah,
it as of recently, it's like it's a lot different because it's like, oh, dude, you don't. I don't know. It's just not the same. They do the same kind of canceling thing as like the other side does.
yeah. The thing about the canceling thing is like it was always there in black metal. It was always there in California. But the thing that made California, Los Angeles in particular, different was if you try to throw anything sketchy in like Oakland or San Francisco, or even if you go up to like Portland, even farther north above California, like you like your show's gonna get canceled. You're gonna get a
Yeah,
lot of Antifa presence. So to throw a sketchy show and a leading show up there is almost close to impossible. Los Angeles, even though it was in California, technically still obviously like you didn't have that threat as much. You always had Antifa always trying to shut down like my show or any other kind of sketchy show, but besides complaining and calling the venue and like threatening
yeah.
the venue and shit, like you never got much. So it was always there. But with this whole Black Sunfest that happened in California, it changed everything. Like right now, the Los Angeles black metal scene is in shambles, dude. Like every single black metal show in
Good.
California is getting canceled, man. Even the normie ones, bro. Like they're all getting canceled for some kind of fucking Nazi ties or the promoter did this and that. And like it's all because of this fucking like fest, bro. Because they literally challenge Antifa with their YouTube channels and shit. Like they literally challenge Antifa to fuck around with the fest and find out. Well, now
Yeah.
Antifa's doxing Antifa's doxing a lot of the people that supported that event, that supported the promoters, that went to the show. Like it got bad, man. Like right now, California, I think black metal is going to be kind of dead for a while.
They're
Um,
gonna they're gonna get my man Kaz Grant, dude. That surprised me so much when I saw them on the roster. I saw like these really like glowy bands like Kush Frost, Blue Eyed Devils, and then all of a sudden
Frost.
I look at the top and I see Crucifier, and I just
That's still
burst out
surreal to me.
laughing. It's like what the hell are you doing here, dude?
The
Play
idea of
anything now.
Kaz like sharing a stage with those people.
well,
is promising.
it's
He'll
because the
play any
It's like
show.
first,
it's the only place that'll take him because they know
well, the
Kaz
first,
is in Grand Balaos Key.
oh, for
Yeah,
sure. Like the first version of this fest wasn't even called the Black Sun Fest. It was something else, but because Nocturne was headlining it, it got flagged down and canceled right away. What hipster black metal, that YouTube page and other promoters did was kind of like, hey, we're gonna make this Nocturne show happen and get other bands to be like, hey, fuck you, Antifa. So that's where you got bands like Crucifier and Kush Frost, obviously, that are like fuck Antifa very vocally that are gonna get together to play the show. So this fest was built on the foundation to piss off Antifa. So how can you be fucking surprised when you get someone like Vein Sauce that's going to give you the attention that you're asking for, and then blame me for it for some fucking reason? Like it's ridiculous, and that's why Sangre Victoria, you fucking dumbass Puerto Rican fucker, like fuck you. You don't know shit.
back to
Oh
this
yeah. Oh,
hating.
by the way, no, I'm sorry. Oh, by the way, I don't mean to talk shit on our Puerto Rican people. I have my homegirl, fucking Sludge Baby. I love you, girl. She's from Puerto Rico. She's fucking awesome. She's in New York. Jasmine, she's fucking awesome. She wanted me to shout her out. I wanted to shout her out. So she's
That's
doing it good
fire.
for us on that side. And she's in New York. She's like the most hated, toxic, sketchy bitch ever, and she's cool, man. And I
Yeah,
say bitch with all, with the utmost respect.
Oh
I
yeah.
promise. I promise. But yeah, man, like that festival just made a lot of problems for all the wrong reasons. For clout, that they probably are going to hate me for saying that, but at the end of the day, it's for clout, man. It's to get them to have their fans to like their post and for them to feel like they have allies and shit. And so like going back to creating an echo chamber for
Yeah.
yourself of support of these same motherfuckers being like, you're doing great, they're doing great, but it's not their reputation, motherfucker, that you ruined or that you're
Yeah.
ruining. It's so I don't know. We'll see because I know people that were involved in that fest are getting doxxed and people are posting their addresses in their neighborhoods and making like fucking like a fucking lost puppy, bro. Like a fucking piece of paper with phone numbers and where they
Have
lived and
you
shit.
seen
Like
this
putting off,
man?
yeah, pretty much, man. Like they're doing some dumb shit.
Their
Even oh
faces
yeah,
on milk cartons.
oh yeah, yeah.
And I was saying
Oh,
this, I talked about this before, but I think more bands should do splits with like people that they really disagree with. And this needs to be like a trend in black metal where
Well,
like bands that like vehemently hate each other need to do splits with each other so they can like try to outperform each other.
dude,
I
freaking, oh my
well,
goodness.
me and Volon, I'll do one with Volon. Fuck it, I'll say it here right now first. Fucking Volon, let's do a
that would
split.
be
You do a
awesome.
track, I'll do a track. Let these people see who's better. I don't give a fuck.
Well,
You should do a
label.
split with Satan.
Oh, jeez.
I would pay to see that.
Oh,
Eric, I've
dude,
had that idea before. It was like I talked to Hesh Firm because they have a Catholic band sign, and my band is a more Protestant. I was like, we should have a Protestant versus Catholic split.
oh,
The
that'd be,
Martin Luther split.
yeah, that is amazing.
That's a good one. What is it? Eric, I know you have questions. Aiden, I know you have questions. Come on, bring
Let's
it
see
out.
here.
Most of my questions have been asked. I've basically been interjecting the whole time. With
Yeah.
mine.
That's
You
fire.
guys want to? You want to?
I was added last minute, so like I have barely any knowledge of any of this.
That's fine.
Yeah.
That's absolutely fine.
Okay, I have one
I
question.
really do like your perspective on this sort of productive competition between bands. That's something I don't really see too often today. You never really see
Well, I
it.
mean, I kind of acquired that from Charles McDonald from Thin. I used to be really good friends with him, and we used to share riffs to each other. When I was writing a lot of my music, I'd be like, "Yo, check this out, check this riff out." And Thin at the time was releasing some good material, and he would show me some of the stuff that he was working on, and even the split that he did with Hotel Ever and Like that never got released for the sake of not wanting to be canceled. But that band's dead. Thin from Chicago. But yeah, I
Cold.
mean, yeah, but me and Charles used to send riffs, and that's how it started, and it put me in a group chat on social media with these other dudes that did riffs, and we kind of like showed each other stuff, and it did drive me to make a lot of to push myself as a musician and to like not release mid, and
Exactly.
especially with like with the indigenous black metal, bronze black metal scene, since that whole elitism mentality is there. I kind of feel it's healthy to listen to each other's music and know where you're at yourself and just wanting to outdo them. Not like I said, this isn't to be disrespectful, just to like to push the genre forward, to push the music scene forward.
Yeah.
Because you don't want it to be stagnant, man. When everyone starts sounding the same, it gets too comfortable. That's where you start losing shit. And that's why with the ONSP, I feel for them, they're imagery based. Their music is not good. So you're gonna think I'm talking shit. I am talking shit, motherfuckers. I really don't care. It's that they are great at doing their pre-Hispanic instrumental parts, like their Mayan and Aztec instruments in black metal. They're very great at that. I'm not gonna talk them for that, but their music is just all like absurd rip-off riffs, bro, and just Sturmer rip-off riffs. And it's like, bro, like you're fucking brown. Like you have like other things you can pull from to like release good music, and like they don't take it that way.
They have the capability, but they're not quite putting in the effort.
Exactly, man. I mean, like I said, it's all imagery based, and that's how they're going to survive. They want to just be an imagery based, talk all this political bullshit, but at the end of the day, doesn't mean anything. Like, fine, you do you, man. To me, like you're trying to gatekeep culture, and like I'll never fucking respect you for that because how can you be like, we're too good for these people? They're fucking posers. They don't deserve to have NS knowledge. And like, dude, like if you want your people and like your world to change towards your cause, you need to give this education to people. And that's the thing about education. Like if you go into it with already like a with an agenda, with a mindset what you're gonna do with that education, as far as when it comes to culture, you're already setting yourself up to lose. You need to come to it very like a baby, man. Like just very like clueless with what, but also very open to embrace the knowledge. And that's what the ONSP didn't realize, that they need to just have something that's accessible for them, not just this whole elitist imagery based music, and just tell everyone they're not good enough. Like if you really want to have more fucking raza into like nationalism, national socialism, you need to outreach to fucking normies straight up, and you need to get them into it. And like they didn't see it that way. So to me, they're not an organization. They call themselves a pagan national socialist organization. They're anything but, man. To me, they're just another black metal collective doing Nazi shit, having a bunch of fucking followers that are just eating up anything that they do just because they fucking put Hitler on it with fucking some kind of indigenous fucking figure in a
I do
jaguar
hate that
skull with a
too.
sombrero. It's dumb, bro. It's fucking dumb. And like the other bronze bands that did it in the US too, like Sacrificial Massacre, I did drums for that band, so I'll talk about them. And you did ask me earlier my time in Mexico. How was that? I went to Mexico to drum for Sacrificial Massacre on that tour. And during that tour, the ONSP, some of their members did say that they called the promoters at some of these venues in Mexico and told them, hey, you better cancel the show because we're going to come with guns or we're going to come to take out Martin. They said
They're
that.
getting the cartel to kill you.
You got genuine ops.
You got genuine shooters.
But this is the thing. This is the thing, bro. They never fucking showed up, and I was ready, dude. Like there was one date in particular they said that we're gonna go to. It was Aguascalientes. That was the date we were playing in Aguascalientes. And dude, I didn't give a fuck. I was mobbing the streets for a good like an hour and a half down alleyways and shit. Like I didn't give a fuck, bro. Like I was by myself, and they never showed up. And like from my understanding, like they didn't show up because like one of their homies was gonna pick them up and shit, and then in a beat down car, and like the car wouldn't start or some dumb shit like that. So,
they're all gonna come out of a
problems.
clown. They're gonna come out of a clown car with Tommy guns.
So I mean, like, I was there. Like, to me, it's all talk. They say they hate me so much, whatever, man. But this is the reason why they hate me is because I quit them. They see me as a traitor, and it's like, dude, I didn't betray anyone. If anything, I wanted my music to be more accessible towards my people. The whole reason to do this, and they just think I want to be a fucking rock star, and that's their problem. But they're in my shadow. They're literally in my shadow because I worked with Darker Than Black first. Now they are, so. It is what it is, dude. And like, this is the thing. At the end of the day, I'll never wish what they're doing ill, even though I don't agree with fucking Raza using indigenous and Third Reich symbols together like that. Like to me, like I said, it looks fucking silly as shit. At the end of the day, it's better to just use our symbols of power.
And everybody knows
European
it's silly.
symbols of power.
Everybody
that's
knows
the thing.
it's silly.
It is, but they want to lie to themselves and be like, "Oh, white people like us doing this and shit." Like, dude, you just look like a token fucking Hispanic to them, bro. That's all you look like to them, and like. It's silly at the end of the day, but I've had arguments with them. They're like, "Oh, it's because it's the politics and it's the way to represent the politics." I'm like, dude, politics is second, dude. Culture and blood is first.
And
honestly.
music too.
Yeah, the music, the music too, because it expresses those aspects. But the politics is just so like, when at the end of the day, it's so unimportant. It's to me like they still live at the end of the day that colonized mind, which is like. You got to believe in some kind of white politics, which is like I'm not one of those individuals. Like I understand, Republican, Democrat shit. Like those are the two parties that are always going to rule the United States. I always know that. So obviously myself, I'm more of a traditionalist. So obviously with the conservatives, I identify more with that. But even then, I think they're fucking dumb as shit. I think Donald Trump is dumb as fuck. But hey, I mean, this is
hey, bro, we might have to
Trump
cancel you. We might
Yeah,
have to cancel.
Brendan.
Yeah, no, but I'm not saying that just because like I think
Dude, 2 more weeks.
No.
Press the plan.
I'm not saying I'm talking shit on Donald Trump just because like I want to be a leftist or anything like that. I'm talking shit just because, dude, at the end of the day, he's on Zog's payroll. At the end of the day, he was still doing shit for fucking that side, and like that's the way that it is. Like no matter if the far left or far right wins, whoever's in charge, they're going to answer to Israel. They're going to answer.
And
to,
you know who runs Israel? And you know who runs Israel? Vassifor.
Me!
Vassifor runs Israel.
I do.
They produce far too many albums. Vassifor produced for far too many people. They run everything.
His tentacles are in everything.
His
Runs
tentacles are in
deep.
everything.
It's Putin, bro. He controls the
Putin.
Jews.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was gonna ask a question, but Aiden cut me off because he hates me.
I'm sorry.
So this might be a really pedantic and stupid question, but I noticed that your music has like a ton of harmonies. Do you play those all like on like one guitar track, or is there multiple guitar tracks with different harmonies?
There's always just two different harmonies going, one low and one high.
Yeah, because freaking what I tried to do, I tried to play a Graveland track with one guitar,
Oh,
and it was I had to stretch so far, and I was like, yeah, he's definitely using two guitars, but I still tried to do it anyway.
Yeah.
I still tried to do it
With
anyway because it was fun.
with the first two albums, Blood of Kings and Delgado the Secret War, it was just two guitar tracks, one high and one low. However, with the Alter Mishlampa and with the Contra Pistola EP, I pretty much everything since the Mishlampa album, it's been four guitar tracks, two high and
ah,
two low. So it just makes it just more fuller, if anything. So I do the same thing with drums too. You always want to double up your drums. So rather than having one drum track that's mixed and everything, double it up. So it just makes the drum sound punchier. So that's a little trick for you and fucking black metal that are trying to make your drum sound a lot better and you're wondering why it's not. Just double it up, bro, and you'll notice it.
Okay, so play the like same drum beat like twice. Just kind of like how like there's like two guitar tracks, but one's left, one's right, like something like that.
I mean, you can do it that way too, but I'm talking about like just like get your master mix for that drums where you have the cymbals and all the toms and every and the snare, like everything dialed in. Take that master track and just make a second of it. So it's just exactly the same. It just makes it sound fuller and punchier.
that's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
What tuning do you prefer? Me and Jack were talking about that. Like most of your stuff sounds like it's written in what is it, C standard? Is that right?
No, man, people ask me all
No.
the time, what's dude, standard E. I play in
Yeah.
standard E.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Even
okay.
even in the death metal stuff, like the newer stuff, the Maquahuitl track, like the Hellfire split, death metalish, like even that's in standard. It's just how you riff, man. How you riff is everything.
Yeah, what I notice is there's notes that seem like they were pretty low, but I assume those are just like what they call those inverted power chords, where it's just like, three on the E and three on the A makes it sound lower, despite it just being in,
Yeah, that's pretty
E
much
standard.
that's pretty much what is it, like a bar chord or whatever, just like all the way across the first three strings or the top strings or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you look at like tablature for the low E high and the D string, it'll just be like 1 1 1 0 0 0 3 3 3 like that. It's just all unison.
Hmm.
So should we get a
That's
Halo?
also that's also how like that's how like
Again,
a grave that's more of like the grave line. Like when I do that, I think more about grave line because a lot of the stuff that Rob did after Capricornus left, and a lot of this stuff got more heavier. More like Bathory Worship, heavier shit.
Yeah,
And that's
what
and
I
that's how
hear
he
a
made all
lot.
those riffs. Yeah,
That's what I hear a lot. Like the later Graveland stuff, guitar wise, it sounds way more bottom heavy, I guess would be the word
especially
I'd
that
use.
most recent album.
Like almost with like kind of like the Bathory, like the Northland albums,
Yeah.
yeah.
Blood on Ice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not too much into black metal. I'm more of a death metal guy, but I always am hearing these bands that have like those super high string harmony counterpoint things that are like really melodic. What band started that? Like, who started that style?
Me.
As far as for black metal, you think? Like,
Yeah, like the stuff that
I would
you
say
kind of play.
I would say the song Transylvania from fuck Mutilation.
Ooh.
I think that song has some of the earliest high chords. Is also a lot of early fuck man. I'm sorry man. I'm like high and I'm drunk at this. Um
Crossfaded.
yeah. Yeah, so for sure them and dude, I can't fucking think about it right now. Over.
Yeah.
Really
No,
over.
I
Yeah.
I would definitely say like Nat's Madrigal and like Mutilation would definitely be some of the biggest like at the forefront of that.
All right. So do we want to go to Hail or Fail next?
Yeah, let's do Hail or Fail. What do we start off with?
I'm gonna be so lonely not
Throw
having
out
listened to
mine.
anything.
Malign, you said?
No, mine.
Oh,
My pick. What was
yours.
it? Trying to remember the name. It was very,
Oh,
very long.
Ordo Templi Aeternae Lucis.
Yes.
So I think the heavier sections of that reminded me of a little bit of Old Wayne's, especially talking about like the mix, just because you have
Yeah.
like those
Yeah.
the drum machine and you still have like
It's
the
just worth pointing out that these guys are kind of sort of on like the outer edges of that concilium scene in France that included like Kristallnacht,
Sagner
Osculum
Voland,
Implement.
Desolation
Yeah.
Triumphalis,
Yes.
Blessed
Yeah,
in
those
Sin.
Blessed and I think I th these guys did
There's
do a
one other.
split with Blessed and Sin later on. So I just thought that would be pertinent.
That is interesting.
But yeah.
I love the cleans on this album too. Like whenever they do the clean guitar with the like the singing woman over it, especially when they
I
do.
was a little indifferent on the singing
You didn't
woman,
like
to be
it?
honest.
I liked
Yeah.
when they
There
would
was
put.
one track I remember where the vocal effects got pretty annoying. You might know what I'm talking about.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
But I do like the when they play the tambourine beat, and then they will bring in the like not blasty sections, but the like full on straight up black metal section. But they'll bring
Mm,
in the tambourine beat, so it's like it's an extra layer of rhythm to it. It feels a lot
yeah.
like what older Peste Noir albums are trying to do, but this kind of
Yeah.
predates it.
Yeah. All right.
What do
So
you think about
sold.
it, Martin?
It's good, and like you mentioned, old Wayne's kind of production and shit. I love old Wayne's and shit. For
Oh
the clean vocals, I mean, I do like it, but I understand what dude is saying because like it's with clean vocal, it's always a risk, man, to do clean
oh yeah,
vocals because like it's always like you don't know how it's gonna like come out. Like it might work in your fucking brain and shit, but when you put it out there, it just might not come out the way it is. But I think it was good, strong album overall. You know.
oh yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, I liked it. Like I said, it's a part of that scene of bands that includes like Bekira, Oscar Minfmay, all those guys. I
Yeah.
think, yeah, it's pretty decent.
Yeah.
I'd listen to it again.
I
I
can
like it.
definitely see the parallels to Osculum Infamy.
Hmm. It was
So what's
also this
next?
was also put
I'm
up
gonna give it a fail, personally.
oh no.
Well, Jack was just here in the last 30 minutes. So
Mhm.
are
I
we
will
gonna do a
say,
line?
I'm gonna, even though I haven't listened, I wanted to comment. I think clean vocals are things that should be added more into metal because I'm tired of just hearing
Yeah.
the same old screams over and over. And
Well,
also,
like
you can
yeah,
make it sound sort of majestic sometimes.
I just wanted to say like
differentiate some of the
the
vibes.
best use of it I've ever heard ever
Is it
is
clean over heavy or heavy over clean?
yeah, heavy
That's
over
so
clean.
good.
Or no,
Okay.
no, 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 no. I meant clean over heavy. Shit.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
Abigor.
Yes, Abigor was
oh,
what I was
Abigor.
thinking. The next
Yeah.
one I
For
was thinking
Wustang
is oh sorry.
specifically.
Yeah, another
For
thing I was
Wustang.
remembering is Nagura Bunget. I think it's the first it's Tessa Rulli de Lumini and the drop he's like singing kind of in this like traditional Romanian like cadence, and then over that he's doing like high vocals. Also, who does it? I
Isn't
really
One
don't.
of the
doesn't
lesser.
isn't Goat Lord by freaking Garthrone have some?
Mm.
Emperor has some pretty good ones.
Yeah.
I mean,
Gorgoroth too. Under the Sands of
Ooh,
Hell.
yeah.
mm,
Iron Hand of Blackest Terror. In a Room in
now
Hell does
what
that as
would you
well.
describe as one of the lesser ones? What's a bad one?
Oh, like bad. I don't know. Shit.
Clean vocals. Hmm.
The
Mm.
I love Perrin's Celestial Silver by Nocturnal Mortem, but the that part, yeah, I don't like it.
I like
Um,
when Dissection did it that one time in the somber lane for like 5 seconds.
oh, Black Horizons, that part at
Yeah.
the end, that part's
You know
really
what?
good too. That was Dan Swano, I think.
I really like Hovenfard, and they do some of that clean vocal shit too sometimes. Like he does Grob as well. The guy that does it's the same individual does Grob and Hovenfard. I don't know if you guys
Yeah.
have heard of them, but
I
there's
Another
have
some
band
not.
really
like
clean vocals that
another
are
band
fucking
I'll
awesome.
shill endlessly is like Bewitched from Chile. They sort of like alternate between a very kind of like Abigor scream and kind of like a Messiah Marcolin croon, and
Oh
then
Yeah.
they'll go
shoot,
into
that
like a King Diamond sort of shit.
And on
it's
the
not.
topic of clean and also Russian black metal, I think Brannikald and Blazebirth Hall are worth mentioning because they are the
Oh, dude.
kings of clean vocals.
I love Temnazor. I'll just say that. I mentioned it earlier. Temnazor, that's like a guilty pleasure for like, you know, you're talking about some moments where clean vocals don't work. I love
Yeah.
that band, but there's moments I will admit
Oh
that
yeah.
Temnazor, it doesn't work, man. It does not work. But I still put some respect on Temnazor. Arcana a little bit too. There's some good stuff from our Arcana. They're Russian, right? Yeah, they are Russian. Yeah, but those two bands, do no, those are Ukrainian. I was gonna say Dubuk, but those guys are Ukrainian. But I love that band as well. The Slavic scene's fucking strong. I love that.
Very
The Blaze
strong as
Birth.
of recently. Yeah.
Yeah, but Blaze Birth is the standard. That's for sure.
And not black metal, but death metal. Time Ghoul probably is my favorite example of clean
Yeah.
vocals in
Green Moon's
extreme
a
metal,
good one.
especially like those strange harmonies. It just sounds like, I don't know, like Star Wars music or something.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, even for those that are into more death metal, like I'd say like Hate Force could be something that they could like listen to and shit like that, you know, because they do some
Yeah.
shit.
That's
What was our next one?
our next one. Let's do Malign. Why not? Because this is my
Yeah.
favorite, right? This is probably like a top 5 Swedish demo for me. I love how prevalent the bass is in the mix. It reminds me of like our Faxat. I think I've talked about them before, but they have like a big connection to early Deathspell Omega and all of
Hmm.
that like orthodox black metal stuff.
I didn't know that.
Especially later on, I was somewhat familiar with the line, but only
Yeah,
with
you're
their later stuff, their Sun to Scorch EP, which when I heard it, I was like, oh, this just really sounds like Offermod or Funeral Mist or Onscopt or any of those guys. But this was pretty
this
refreshing for me.
yeah,
No,
this
like,
was
yeah,
more
yeah.
yeah.
It was more in
Yeah,
like the catharsis, sort of like World Without End or whatever that album was
Yeah.
called.
Yeah,
More
I
than
wanted to mention. I wanted to mention back to the bass mix. Like, dude, I'm a sucker for good black metal with good bass mix, man. Like, it's just something that I love, dude. And I try to do with my music too. But yeah, just like I wanted to go back to that. That I was a fan of that as well.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
It was it's just really good. It reminds me more of like Norwegian bands than actual Swedish bands. And I'll
Yeah.
also add that Jack, they have
Hey.
they did something that you've done before where you take like a pure black metal track and like put a chugging death metal breakdown near the end on the track Fireborn.
Oh, have you sent that to me? Because
I
you've sent
think
me
I
some.
sent that to you before. It's just so off-putting and it's really awesome.
You've
Everybody
sent me
should
some
listen to
tracks
that.
where you say that's happened.
Yeah. Which, you know, it's kind of death metal.
It's kind of
Uh
awesome.
so is that everything?
Wait, I have a question. So you said this is along the lines of Orthodox black metal, you say?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
I don't even know
I've
what
heard
to
that
We've
say.
term
talked about this
used.
before, yeah.
I know, but I need to re-explain it because I'm an idiot and my memory sucks.
Okay,
So
so
I think Orthodox black metal. I'm like, oh, you're talking about Batushka, right?
Yeah.
But
in a
no.
way, yes. Well, okay, so
You are.
well, Orthodox black metal to me is the third wave of black metal, right?
To
And
me, it's like the most hair-splittingest of subgenres. Like
it
I
is.
see, yeah, I see like Onscopt get included in it. I see Offermod getting included, and I see also Archon and Faustus get included in it for whatever reason. I don't seem to like.
No,
They don't
I
register.
I cited Batushka because like literally like Eastern Orthodox because that's what I was
Yeah.
thinking about.
We were
But then you
making fun
said
of
it was
Batushka
DSO.
earlier.
I
Yeah. Well,
wasn't Offermod. Did they coin it though? I think.
I'm not sure. I just see it as the third wave, and I think it really like decisively began with that Northern Heritage compilation, Crushing the Holy Trinity, because it has Magua, it has Despel Omega and Clandestine Blaze. And I think those are like kind of the forerunners of that entire style. Because
What defines it?
I think the bass is much more prevalent. The songwriting, it breaks a lot more into like avant-garde black metal, but it's not.
Yeah, it's kind of like a natural
So Pro
progression.
Fanatica.
It's almost a bit like a natural progression from kind of
From second wave.
no, maybe like more specifically like what Mayhem did on I don't know.
A Grand Declaration of War.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say Ordo at
That's a
Chimera.
great album, by the way.
That is such an underrated album.
I like
bro,
Ordo at
straight
KO.
up.
I like Grand Declaration of War, but Ordo at KO is like just my favorite. full stop just because of how fucked up and evil it sounds.
I wanted to get into second or latter day of Mayhem just to be a contrarian, but I never got into it.
I like Chimera a lot, especially that one song. Damn, what is it called? It's called like raping
Oh
humanity
yes.
with pride.
Yeah, that has a really
Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
good lead on it. Yeah,
Bass line, yeah.
that's a good one too.
You know
Maniac
what?
is a
Let- let-
weird
let-
guy.
yeah, you know what? Let me just fucking go off on Mayhem real quick on something like
Uh-oh.
I love Mayhem, but what I hate about Mayhem bands that just are fucking dig writers for Dead is the fact that they always talk shit on Maniac, bro. They always talk shit on Maniac with
I,
Nate, but they worship Death Crush. It's like, who do you think's the fucking vocalist on like the
Yeah.
material on that album? You fucking idiot, dude.
You
Like,
know,
Maniac is my
Maniac
favorite,
and Attila are
yeah.
better than
Maniac is
Dead, in
my
my
favorite
opinion.
Mayhem vocalist, and it's not even close.
I think it's because Dead kind of set the sort of archetype for black metal vocalists. All the others didn't.
I'm sorry, but I just really like Attila just because of how weird he is. Just like
No, exactly.
he does something nobody else does. Like even his more traditional kind of by the books black metal rasp is still like one of my favorites.
yeah,
It's just so like
yeah, for sure. Like
yeah.
Attila, I like him a lot, man. And I think he was just ahead of what black metal was. Like I think he was just like too advanced at that time for everybody's mindset, bro. Like
Yeah.
honestly, but I
Well,
think what he's
especially
doing
like
now is great because even like
especially
Batushka, like it's just like what that band is trying to do vocally is even like not even half of what Attila does. You know what I mean?
mhm.
As far as like
On
Oh
a
yeah, we,
on
we have to
Ordo
add Mayhem to the list of black metal with cleans because of the DMDS title track.
Oh.
Yes.
yeah, Ordo at KO just like that's probably the one where he shines the most to me. He goes into like some straight up just really guttural like death metal territory on it. I think everybody should listen
Yeah.
to it.
He's got a
If you
great
wanna
range. That's one thing I
No, and
yeah.
like.
also, and Attila was the only thing that made fucking Sono fucking relevant to see live.
Yeah,
Honestly,
yeah, nobody
honestly.
likes yeah. They're just the band with Attila in
I
it.
think what is it? Martin, your friend Holden. My friend Holden.
Yeah,
He was
our
talking
friend.
about how Sun O is like it's like what is it? Girlfriend core or something where it's like one of those bands where like
Yes.
it's one of those bands where it's like a
Yes.
metalhead's girlfriend will like it, but nobody else
Mhm.
listens to it. I think
Yeah.
Primitive Man is in that in that like
Yeah.
description as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're on a bit of a
Anything
bit of a
sludgy.
departure. A bit of a departure. So, what was our next one?
Mass Control
Mass
Genocide.
Control. Yes.
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 Oh my god.
I know you have some
Yeah.
things to say about this, Martin, but
Oh man, I know you guys in our little group chat. You guys were laughing at that CD of his
yeah,
with
that
him
picture.
looking naked,
Like,
and
what
naked on the
the-
cover.
He looks so
Dude,
happy.
I know.
hey man, what do you think is gonna happen to a country you drop 2 atomic bombs on, bro? I mean, they're just weird. But
It's
so
a
that being
victim.
said,
It's a victim
Did
of
they
radiation
deserve it?
sickness.
Did they have it
no,
coming? Should we drop another?
It's got like a Mars creation vibe to it.
dude,
Yeah.
I love it, man. I mean, like that being said, like that dude's a genius. Like I love him. He doesn't get enough recognition. To me, he's like the Japanese Pest Noir, but even more fucking primitive and just like just
Yeah.
weird, man. You know,
That is like a comparison I was about to draw. As I was gonna be like, this reminds me of like Ungfell, Peste Noir, even like Ross Dorchester and Total Vernichung, which we talked about earlier.
yeah. I mean, to me, it's some of the best material. Obviously, I approached him to just wanting to grab that will be listened to. I wanted to have that, and he sent it to me for free. And he told me, "I like your music. Let's trade." And I sent him a bunch of shit, and we wanted to do a split together, and it just came to an opportunity. So that's coming out by Go to War X. From my understanding, it's already pressed. Just Danny's going to release it with one of his other batches, man, with another release, Orden, which is my black punk nationalist band that I had as well.
Ah, it's awesome.
That's gonna be dropped by him as well. But yeah, at the same time. But yeah, like I said, he doesn't get enough recognition. He's for Japan. Him and Meniere's Man, like those two projects are just like really doing something for Japan right now. That's really not being looked at. They just have some crazy melodies, like really melodic, but at the same time, just strange, man. It's like I can't describe it at all, but it just works. The production for this release I really like as well. It gets better. He has a lot of demos, a lot of older shit that is not as clean as this. He has a full length I think coming out as well. The material with me is more along the lines of what we listen to. As far as production wise and the direction. But yeah, man,
Yeah.
I hope you guys liked it as well. But me, like, I'm just in love with this dude's material. Like, I worship that. Also, Flaming Ouroboros, that's the homie right
Oh
there.
yeah.
I love it. I talk to that dude every so often, which reminds me I have to send out a package for him and some other people. But yeah, that's what's with one of those bands I've been listening to a lot lately. That's for sure.
Yeah, the production really brings out like those like super melodic leads, which it's utterly awesome. And it's very short too. That's another thing. It's
Yeah,
like 13 minutes, and it grabbed my attention the entire time because I could just keep pointing out influences, but it never sounded like unoriginal. You know what I mean?
yeah, man.
Like I look at
Good
like
shit.
bands that worship like the really melodic like Peste Noir stuff, like was it Buys My Hatch, which I don't
Hmm.
like, and I'll be like, oh, this is just a ripoff. But with Mass Control Genocide, it was so much different because I can sense the originality.
I'm
You
glad you
know?
liked it, man.
Oh
Like
yeah,
I said, I think mine needs to get recognized a lot more than what he already has, and I know he's got some stuff coming out, so hopefully people will start picking up on it.
oh yeah. Getting picked up on Godo is like it's a step in the right direction for proper recognition. What do you think, Aiden?
Yeah, I liked it. It reminds me of some stuff that I like. I definitely did hear a bit of that early, like kind of Peste Noir, kind of like Outre, whatever these sort of like Peste Noir kind of, I don't know what you would call them, hanger-ons, the
Yeah,
gliders. I don't know. So they're in a similar vein. Yeah, I liked it. I'll listen to it again.
it's
Yeah.
definitely something I would listen to again. And at the end of the day, that's the main thing that matters. Is
Yeah.
will I bump it again? Mm.
All right.
Metalheads, congregate.
And then of course Eric's choice, genital cunt. I mean I liked it. I don't really have much to say about it because it's like,
The name speaks for itself.
well, yeah, it's just like noisecore type stuff. I don't really like. I'm not the best read on that genre, so I couldn't really
Same here.
provide.
I'm not like a fan of the stuff. I couldn't really speak authoritatively on it.
That's fair. But you,
Yeah.
Martin, you like core shit, right? Like grind stuff. What did you think about it?
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, I like noisecore and like some of that stuff too. I'm not really into the scene and stuff just because like I got pretty much ran out of that core scene by being NS. I used to play for a grindcore band called Green Terror, and they kicked me out for being a Nazi.
Ah,
So it's kind of like I've been kind of out of touch with like a lot of what's been going on. But yeah, man, it was cool. It didn't really remind me much of anyone in particular. But like I said, it's not something that I've heard in a while. And like I said, I'm out of touch of the scene. So
yeah.
unfortunately, I'm not like someone that could really speak on it or anything like that. So yeah. I do have some friends that do like noise stuff too, and all that. And I think there's like a noise fest happening here in Nashville
Oh
in
yeah, private
November.
one. It's a private one with is it Genocide Oregon? I'm trying to
Yeah,
remember.
I think so. I think so. I'll be going to that just because the guy that's throwing it is a personal friend of
Oh, he
mine, and
invited you.
yeah, I got it. Well, that and I'm probably going to be slinging some barbecue that night too. So if
Ooh.
anyone wants to have some of my barbecue, they can probably go to that event.
Okay, evil meats. Yeah.
Smoking evil meats. I'm kind
No,
of
dude,
jealous actually.
I do brisket. I do fucking pulled pork, chicken, fucking ribs. You name it,
That's
man. I
cool.
love, I love,
I
love
love
doing meat.
I love grilling. It's very cathartic. It's fun.
Grilling is a very black metal activity, I think.
It is. You're
You're getting in.
carbonizing the meats.
No, man, I'm,
You're
I'm, I'm
burning
working,
it.
I'm working with fire and wood and ash and smoke all fucking day, dude. It's pretty cool. I
It's
will say
awesome.
that.
Exactly.
You scared of
Eric, you're
like
back.
asbestos
Yes,
poisoning or
yes.
something?
There he is.
We
There's
all
We,
our
we
listened to
boy.
your album and
yeah.
you said it was terrible, and then you
We
shit
Oh,
yourself.
yeah.
oh no. I should hurt myself.
Yeah.
I'm very jealous about that though, because I remember I was getting told about that like invite only festival, and I was like, oh shit, dude, I want to go.
Oh, what are you
I just want to grill and listen
invite
to some
only festival?
NSBM.
What I
It's
miss?
like an invite only noise thing. I think it's in the woods with Genocide
Yeah,
Oregon.
it is.
Oh
It is
shit.
in the woods.
Oh, that's
And that
sick.
stuff live is totally unmatched. Like I love like
That's yeah.
yeah, I
That's
love death
that's noise.
industrial, power
When
electronics. But when
I
you're
don't know.
seeing that live,
I gotta be on some kind of substance when I go to that. That's for sure.
oh yeah,
Like noise is definitely at its peak when it's live. It's very performance. I don't even.
it
There's
is a performance art very
It
much.
is, and
Yeah.
that's the thing with me. Like, I won't be able to really fully appreciate it unless I see it. I think the visuals is very much part of it. You know.
Oh yeah.
Jason Oregon always has very crazy shows. They always have very odd demonstrations.
Yeah. It's just damn.
Yeah, I
I'm
think
missing out.
it's a bit unrelated, but I always think of the Ride for Revenge shows where they're just wearing like weird like leather gimp outfits and like
Jesus.
assless caps.
That one with
Jesus.
Bizarre Uproar. This dude is just
Oh,
pissing on a girl like 3
Yeah,
times.
yeah. It's on YouTube and it's totally uncensored. That's crazy.
It was
But
so it's so
it's for
funny.
the art. It's
Pay to link me
artistic.
that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to see that later.
Yeah.
Mhm. All right.
All
Do you
right.
think that's everything?
So as we wrap this up, you know, we normally like mention what we've been listening to recently, right?
Okay.
So who
Yeah.
wants to start? That's the
I'll
question.
start. I'll start. For me, it's been the new Imprecation album. I'm really liking it. Like their last album was a bit of a it wasn't as good as the demo stuff. Obviously, to me nothing's going to be as good as the demo stuff because to me it's just like probably some of the best,
Yeah.
most unique death metal out there. And this their new album, Nominate Diaboli, is probably the closest thing they've done to this sound that they set out to establish on the demos.
Yeah.
And it really sucks because Ruben's gone, and he's probably who I owe the most of their identity to is
Yeah.
his incorporation of those synths. So that's what I've been listening to lately. Also
That's
Crucifier too, just because
Crucifier.
Kaz has been on my
Kaz has
brain
been on your
lately.
mind.
Yes,
We
he's
we
been
gotta confront
occupying
him
my
about the
mind.
stuff that he follows.
It'll come.
Yeah,
It'll come someday.
Jesus.
Kaz
All
just
right.
loves overweight women.
One time
That's
back in 7th grade, one of my friends sent me a meme that Kaz Grant posted because I sent I don't know why, but I sent a Kaz Grant meme to the group chat we had, and I guess they must have followed him. They don't even know like who Kaz Grant is, but
Kaz
it's
Grant
all
posted one of
filtering.
my memes.
It's all filtering down towards him.
Kaz Grant posted one of my
Yeah.
memes. It was the one where it was like me outside my house and it was like a guy in corpse paint. I don't remember who it was. And it's me inside my house and it was like a picture of Astolfo. And I was like, Kaz Grant, you can't be posting this
Oh,
shit.
Kaz.
It's so funny when bands post your shit because it's always like slide 8 and slide 1 through 7 is like femboy memes.
That's so
Oh,
awkward to think
God.
about. Like bands that I
They're
like
endorsing
scrolling
it.
through my shit.
Kaz is full-throatedly endorsing this
He
this
supports
weirdness.
sodomy.
No,
Yes.
I've been listening to so much Xaster, it's not even funny. God. It's like I don't know. I used to make fun of him a lot, I guess, for being riffless, and I still think it's riffless, but like
Ruthless
something-
fun.
there's something really profound about it, I guess. It's mostly
Hypnotic.
because, you know, I really do enjoy the stuff that he's influenced. And I do like that really layered style of black metal. I've been listening to mostly like Abysmal Depths Are Flooded, because that track is just I've been listening. I love Hand of Glory, right? And this track is quite literally just Hand of Glory, just like 20 years before, which is kind of awesome.
yeah, me and Abstruse have a song produced by Xaster himself.
True story. What is it? Xaster. What was it? I
don't
can't
know.
even remember. I don't even know. I've been listening to what else? Chief Keef.
Xaster hates Kobe Bryant. That's what
Yeah.
it's called.
All right.
What else? Yeah, that's
Oh,
it. We're chill.
okay. All right. Who wants to go next?
I'll go, man. Pretty much. I've been going everywhere, but I know Catacomb Voices and Sovereign did a split, so I listened to a lot of that. I love Catacomb Voices and Sovereign. It's pretty much the same dude, which is funny. He did a split with himself and released it.
Oh shit! Yeah,
It's from Rudolph the Proud. That's his.
I love
his,
Snowbeard.
I know, man. He has some good material. He's from Brazil, and I think that's very slept on as far as Brazilian black metal. They always go to like Sarcophago or like to even to like early like Sepultura as far as like being cult and like just fucking just being brutal and shit. But
Yeah.
yeah, but Catacomb Voices and Sovereign, love those bands. I love listening to a lot of his shit. So I'm always bouncing between that. Um, lately, Hodlin Fard and Grov, I'm consistently listening to that material. And it's funny you mentioned Hand of Glory. I've been listening to a lot of House of the First Light.
Okay.
Timon, I miss that dude, man. He was a good friend and everything like that. And his band Sanguine Eagle, I love that fucking project, and
Yeah,
that's
I
something that
was
I
just
listen
talking
to.
about Hand of Glory. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Sanguine Eagle is great.
Yeah, that's a great fucking project. So I've been listening to a lot of that. I have some tapes that he gave me, and I was listening to some of it a while
Yeah.
ago.
Some of the
So,
best Blazebirth Hall worship in the US other than Last Kawiak.
oh man,
Are you
for
one of
sure,
them?
for sure. Yeah, they're pretty good. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. They're good shit. Also been listening to a lot of Ashdodis. I love that fucking. That's like the earliest Black Twilight band, and like honestly, Daniel, that's the main dude from Ashdodis. He's fucking amazing. Shout out to him real quick. He's fucking a good dude. He came out to my show when I played in California, and awesome brother. Every time I'm in California, I always try to see him. But yeah, Ashdodis. I don't know if you guys have listened to them, but it's just really really good black metal. It's good. If you know what's that band called? Tenebri and Perpetuum.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that's pretty much a lot of worship of that kind of black metal
I
overall.
gotta
And
I gotta go
was that?
really soon. I gotta go really
That's fine,
soon.
don't
We're
worry.
running out of time. Yeah,
Wait, wait,
just
okay.
6
I don't
minutes.
know. Worries.
Wait,
I don't want to.
we
I don't
need
want to rush.
all right.
we
I
need
don't want
one
to rush
more.
people, but yeah,
That's
Wait,
pretty
wait.
much it. I was wrapping it up with that.
yeah. I'll cut that out and
We
everything.
got
But
Jack.
go on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're saving the best for last. All right, best taste for last.
I'm still going.
Um, shoot. Oh yeah, what was I
And
gonna? It was basically the
Eric.
same stuff I listened to since last episode, I guess. Abstruse and Aiden. Do you guys remember or no?
Was it like Merciful Fate, like a bunch of heavy metal stuff? Wasp.
Yeah, yeah. See,
Yes.
look, that's the big
Oh
one. I've
yes.
still been on the big Wasp kick. Still been on the big Merciful Fate kick.
I can't wait to see
Freaking
Wasp, dude.
Dawkins.
I'm gonna see Wasp soon.
Oh yeah,
Ooh.
I need to see that show as well. I haven't even bought tickets, but I probably should.
You guys need to
Freaking
link up.
them, and Armored Saints, two pretty good bands. But
Armored Saint's really
I'm
good.
thinking of I'm trying to add Striper to that whole pantheon of like regular rotation
Which
heavy metal
Armored Saint
bands.
album?
Hmm.
Which Armored Saint album?
What do you mean?
Like which one's your favorite? Which one do you
Oh,
think is probably the
I've
best?
only heard I've heard the first four, but none of them really like
Okay.
clicked in as hard as much as the first one. But what I was
Yeah.
saying, I've been trying to add Striper to that whole pantheon of regular rotation heavy metal, and I have to say it's pretty good. They have a lot of dope harmonies. It's kind of like proto power metal in a way, but too many ballads as well, and I always have to just skip them.
You hate
Soldiers
ballads.
Mhm.
Why?
Yeah, Soldiers Under Command. Check it out.
Eric.
All right. Oh shit. Yeah. My no black metal November has started early. I've
Oh
listened.
God.
We're getting there.
I've listened to no black metal this fucking month, other than what I had to listen to for Hail or Fail. It's not intentional.
We're
But what
keeping
I-
you on the homework.
Yeah, yeah. I've what I have been listening to a lot lately has just been like Discharge, Dysphere, fucking any D beat band that just worships Discharge, like
Disgorge.
Disrupt.
Just worship, pretty much.
Don't say Discord.
Dysphere.
Discord is my favorite dis band.
Dysphere they had Thomas Lindbergh from At the Gates
Dismember.
for a point.
Discarnate.
Yeah.
Any D beat worship band.
We love DB around
Well, you
here.
know what? Speaking of which, there needs to be bands that do slow D beats or just slow just slow D beats in general. Like that band from Japan, Cruelty. They have
Oh,
this song,
I've heard
Ancient
of them.
Words. Yeah, they have a song called Ancient
Is it
Words.
Cruelty
has
with a K?
Yes, yes, from Japan.
Yeah.
Their song Ancient Cruelty. And you guys listen to it. It has this slow D beat. Like there
Mm.
needs to be bands that do more of that.
They
Because it sounds
the
so
band
brutal and heavy.
Yeah, the band they remind me the most of is probably Cyanide. I think they're probably huge fans of Cyanide because they got that D beat sort of slow
Yeah, I was gonna say,
beat thing going on
I was
too.
gonna say like if you know more bands that do slow fucking deep beats, send it my way because I
Yeah.
live for that shit,
Master,
especially for the
Master,
gym.
and Cyanide. Any death metal from Chicago. That's it.
Oh,
There you
all
go.
right, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
No problem.
Oh man,
Punk
Yeah.
rock and roll.
Yes.
So
Okay.
that covers.
Overall,
Punk rockers.
all right,
unite.
guys. Well, thank you, Martin, for coming on.
dude, it was fun.
Check out Maquahuitl. I would suggest Tio Cali of the Sacred War to start. That's how I say it, right?
Yeah, Tale Cali of the Sacred War. That's it.
Yeah, I would. I used to go for that first album, but I think that's probably your best stuff so far, especially considering the context you're in when you made it, where you was like trying to one up somebody. Very good
Yeah, I
stuff.
mean, I was a little surprised too that everyone liked that album the most. I thought people would like Ultra Mishlampa the most, but that seems to be the thing. Either Blood of Kings, but more predominantly Teokali the Sacred War. And like I don't know. I mean, like I said, the context is there. I think that's the reason why it worked out the way it did. I just had a lot to prove to myself, and like just to like really bring something to the table that was just better than before. Because with Blood of the Kings, that was enough in itself to try to match up.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I'd say
Yeah, but
check out
thanks for
Ride
having
the
me, though.
Lightning and Kill 'Em All.
true, true.
Red Lightning, Kill 'Em All.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Of course,
Kill 'Em All is the best one.
of course. Yeah, oh, yeah.
And with
Saint
that, we're all
Anger,
set.
actually.
You know,
That's snare. That's snare.
I actually love
Saint
Saint
Anger
Anger.
snare.
I
The
was
best
listening to that like a
grindcore
couple of
snare.
days ago.